Welcome to the beginning of Kingdom Come Deliverance. We will be doing a hardcore playthrough.
Charles IV, King of Bohemia and Holy Roman Emperor, had a long and successful reign. The empire he ruled from Prague expanded, and his subjects lived in peace and prosperity. When the emperor died, the whole empire mourned. More than 7,000 people accompanied him on his last procession. The heir to the throne of the flourishing empire was Charles's son, Wenceslas IV, whose father had prepared him for this moment all his life. But Wenceslas did not take after his father. He neglected affairs of state for more frivolous pursuits. He even failed to turn up for his own coronation as emperor, which did little to endear him to the Pope. Wenceslas the Idle did not impress the imperial nobility either. His difficulties mounted until the nobles, exasperated by the inaction of their ruler, turned for help to his half-brother, King Sigismund of Hungary. Sigismund decided on a radical solution. He kidnapped the king to force him to abdicate, then took advantage of the ensuing disorder to gain greater power for himself. He invaded Bohemia with a massive army and began pillaging the territories of the king's allies. It is here that my story begins.
That was the intro. I think we're gonna go with high. Should be good. Let's do new game. How do I delete these other play lines? I've played this game before. I've never beaten it. I haven't beaten the DLCs either. It's been a while since I played. 2023, 4 hours into it. 2021 before that. I don't know how to delete old playthroughs, so we'll just do an empty slot, I guess. Or no, I'll do the first one. Yeah, override it. We're gonna do hardcore mode. More realistic. Recommended for players who are familiar with the essentials of combat and survival in the world of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like I said, I've played before. Not a master. So when you do hardcore, it does a roll to see if you survive or die, and it gives you these cool little ways you died that somebody normally would have to experience during this time. So once in autumn, you got caught in a great storm. By the time you found shelter, you were already soaked to the skin and shivering with the cold. The next day, you had a terrible fever. A few days later, when they buried you, it was raining too. Alright. Died again. Also, this playthrough will not be... It'll be more like all my playthroughs. I think I'm just going to focus on having the most fun. Whether that's playing on the hardest difficulty or the easiest will depend game to game. I usually play on the hardest difficulty. Just when you were thinking you'd already passed this tree before, the wolves caught up with you. Mother always told you not to stray into the woods alone. You survived. Medieval life is full of uncertainty and woes. Spring gives way to winter, and the years have borne away your carefree youth. Neither have you escaped the blows of fate. Like every man judged by God, you too have your cross to bear. Select at least 2 negative perks that will stay with you for the whole game. So we're going to take all of these negative perks. We'll read through them as well. Nightmares. Since childhood, you've been troubled by a recurring nightmare in which you were being chased by a colorful jester. Although the dream is repeated night after night, it still frightens you as much as when you were little. You awake so shook up that all your stats are lowered for a while. So lowered stats after you sleep. Claustrophobia. When you were a child, you got your head stuck inside a pail and couldn't get it off all day until your father took an axe to it. Ever since then, you've had a fear of enclosed spaces. Wearing a helmet with the visor down makes you so anxious that your attacks are weakened. Also, I'll try to cut out anything that's tedious and streamline the walkthrough, because I will be doing a lot of stuff that will be tedious in this, since I've played it before. Hemophilia. Like your father and his father before him, you are afflicted with the family curse. All it takes is a scratch and you start to bleed like a stuck pig. Once it starts, the bleeding is faster and it's harder to stop. I'm gonna have to remember how to heal properly. Numbskull. Your mother dropped you on the head as a baby. She kissed it better and the bump soon faded. But ever since then, you're a little slow at getting the hang of things. This lowers your acquisition experience. This will be a pain. Consumption. You once caught a nasty chill and ended up with persistent cough. Many thought you'd never survive, but eventually you healed. Nevertheless, since that time you don't breathe very well and your stamina regenerates more slowly. This will be tough. More tough in combat. Shakes. When you were too little to know any better, you fell into the well. It was hours before they heard you crying and got you out. Ever since then, you get the shakes from time to time, as if you were back again in the dark, chilly well. Obviously, that's not good for archery, pickpocketing, or lockpicking. It's actually helpful for lockpicking. Archery is going to be rough. Tapeworm. When you've got an appetite, you'll eat anything you can get your hands on. Folks say you eat enough for two. It's like you have a visitor in your guts who's eating you out of house and home. You get hungry faster, so you have to eat more often. This can be annoying. I don't know how to pronounce this. Somnambulant? You've always been a restless sleeper, sometimes so much so that you get up from your bed and go walking. It's not unusual for you to wake up elsewhere, or somewhere else than you were where you went to bed. This one is basically just trolling the player, so it'll just like randomly spawn us in a different location after we wake up. Brittle bones. Ever since you were little, stairs and ladders have been your worst enemies. All it takes is a little fall and your bones break with an awful crack. You suffer much worse injuries than other when you fall. That can be avoidable. Also, I will say, after each playthrough I complete, whether I finish the game or I don't like the game and I just discontinue the playthrough, I'll make a review video of it, rating it, and I'll show the rating system I use for games I play. It's all subjective, of course, but that should be fun to see the progression of games that I play and how they rate against each other. It's not going to be anything professionally done, but I like to keep track of that on my own, so I figured I might as well make videos after each playthrough so somebody can see if they like the same games as me, and then if they want to see gameplay, they'll have these playthroughs to watch. Continue. The early 15th century was a time of turmoil in the Holy Roman Empire, which had flourished under the late Emperor Charles IV, but now with his son Wenceslas the Idle. Disarray the king's inactivity angered many of the nobility, as well as his half-brother King Sigismund of Hungary, who decided to take drastic steps to restore order to the empire. said Silver Scowlets, 1403.
God bless. Same to you. Today's a scorcher.
Well, husband, how goes it?
Good. I should get it finished today. Where on earth is Henry? I need him to run some errands.
He was still sleeping when I went out.
At this hour? Blue-blooded idler.
Well, it looks like he was out all evening, drinking like a lord.
Go and get the lazy bones up then. Quick clout round the ear should do it.
Mm-hmm. Henry! Get up now. There's work to be done.
Mother. Get up or I'll come get you up, you slugabed.
Hear that? You'd better not vex him. Now get up quick. Your breakfast is on the table. Wait, what's this? Have you been... Oh, Henry. How many times have I told you about fighting?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just a scratch.
You've been at that sword play again, haven't you? You'd better pray your father doesn't get to hear of it. You know how he feels about it.
Oh, don't worry, it wasn't that. I just scratched myself is all.
Well, just don't come crying to me if you really do get hurt. Now get up, you rogue. A fine state you're in this morning. What on earth did you get up to last night?
Also, okay. Also, I will be picking like perks that are not always the best. Just if I see something that's fun. And same with like consequences of decisions. If I do something that like gets somebody killed or anything like that, we're just gonna roll with it. I don't plan to do save scumming unless it's something that gets me killed or puts me at like an extremely bad disadvantage for the rest of the game. So for these options, you get to choose which initial skills you want to level, depending on what your response is. So what did we get up to last night? Speech is the hardest skill to level. So we were chatting in the tavern.
Nothing much. Me and the lads were just having a chat in the tavern. Some wayfarer stopped by. He was telling us what's going on in the world and, well, I lost track of time.
Well, I hope he didn't fill your head with nonsense. Well, I've got a feeling there's something you're not telling me. And it's connected with that scratch on your hand. And that suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town recently.
So you saw at the top left, we leveled up speech and also our main level. So again, we get another thing. What do we want to level up? Again, speech. Why would I be interested in sword fighting? This is the hardest to level up, so we'll do that.
You think he's teaching me sword fighting, don't you? What use would that be to me? Here. I'm not lying to you, Ma.
All right, then, if you say so. I don't mean to pry, but you know your father takes a dim view of such things.
So we got another level on the main level and another level in speech. So now, from my understanding, I believe doing the white dialogue options also helps level up speech, just not a whole lot. So we'll try to exhaust dialogue whenever we can. Like I said, I might end my recording sessions at different times. So I might not on different episodes do an introduction, because I'm probably going to do a lot of editing of stuff that's tedious. So I guess we'll figure that out as we go. Have my friends been here?
Did Matthew and Fritz come looking for me?
No, I haven't seen them this morning. They shouldn't be hard to find. They'll be hanging around a tavern somewhere, as usual.
I'm used to games where we don't have a voice protagonist, so I'll just click instead of reading it out.
Oh, not this again. Leave it lie, Mother. Is Father angry with me for sleeping late?
He's not happy. Yesterday you promised him you'd help finish that sword for Sir Radzig. He's not as young as he was. And you know how his joints pain him. He's too proud to complain, but he needs your help, Henry.
I know. Don't worry, Ma. Of course I'll help him.
Good. He always says his knees ache when there's a storm coming. I hope they're wrong this time. It's looking like such a nice day.
Can I get something to eat?
I left some breakfast on the table. Help yourself.
Do you need me to do anything, Ma?
Ah, you're a good lad. But I'm fine. It's your father needs helping with that sword.
Alright, exhausted the dialogue. Like I said, I don't remember a lot about this game. I do remember some things. So basically I'll be abusing, this is like the tutorial area, this introduction, so definitely going to be abusing it. Let's see, nourishment. So we can try to get that. How much carrying capacity do we have? So we got speech level 3. Main level is only 2. You'll last 15% longer without food, but as soon as it'll be 20% worse. I mean, when dirty, you'll have 50% more charisma when talking to women. However, people will smell you a mile off, reducing your stealth skill by 30%. That's pretty rough. Stamina will regen 20% faster at night, but 10% slower during the day. He grew up in impoverished conditions, so comforted beds is inverted for you. The worse the bed, the better you sleep. I think we'll hold on to our perk at this point. I didn't see anything super great there. What is it? Oh, it's gonna take me a while to get used to the controls again. These savior schnapps allow us to save the game. Marigold decoction. This is basically a health potion. Add 30 health and dispel hangover effects. Bandage, stop bleeding. So we'll take all that. Basically, think you can drop stuff into the pot. Guess we'll drop the apples. Is that actually dropping anything? Maybe not. I'll just eat from the pot. Nourishment's at 44. Does it increase over time, I guess? Until soup 8. Go ahead and eat that, I guess. Like I said, you'll probably see a bunch of jump cuts. Because I'm going to be learning the game. Relearning it. The finer details. Also, the way you see the screen on the video, I guess it'll depend on the games I play and what they're capable of handling resolution-wise. But for this game, I play on an ultra-wide monitor, so that is why you might see black bars on the top and bottom of the screen. Wish we could use this scythe. Alright, hardcore mode. This is probably good for me to read again anyways. So saving, there's no autosave in hardcore mode. You can only save the game by drinking savior schnapps, sleeping in your own bed, getting full service in a bathhouse, or on exit from the game. Survival. Your current health and stamina are indicated only by the endgame effects you see. Sleep is the best cure. You can also make use of health potions and food, but they take longer to take effect in hardcore mode. You can't fill yourself by eating from one of the pots dotted around the world, so you really have to get your own food. Map and navigation. So I guess that's why I didn't really get much food from that pot. Map and navigation. Henry's position is not shown on the map, and there are no points on the compass. Waypoints are shown on the compass, but only when you get close enough. Fast travel is not possible in hardcore mode. I don't really like fast travel in games anyways. Money and equipment. Traders pay less when buying items, and monetary rewards in general are lower, while on the contrary, extensive repairs are more costly, and the drawbacks of using damaged equipment are more serious, so it really makes sense to keep your equipment well maintained. Combat. Duels are more realistic. Attacks have greater impact, and engaging without quality armor with an experienced foe is always very risky. Fighting more than one foe at a time is also more dangerous because they will take greater advantage of their numbers. The cursor has no direction points or block indicator in combat. You can only time blocks and dodges by carefully watching your opponent's moves. See, I don't even remember when you learn how to counter. I think it's after the tutorial. This tutorial area. Also, for those who are familiar, that the second game actually released, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So part of the reason I'm playing this is because I'm going to be playing that game. And also I'm playing this because I'm waiting for that game. It's supposed to be releasing a hardcore mode sometime soon-ish, I guess within the next few months. So that's also the reason. And I'll also like to see how it is compared to this game. Hook item, deal with fire. What? Oh. Nourishment 57. So I have, how many savior schnapps do I have? 8.8 out of 70. We're gonna turn down the
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum.
music a little bit. It's a little loud. So we have how many? Okay, we have 3. So before I do anything crazy, I'll probably do a save. You won't get any cleaner washing in a trough. For that, you need baths. Trough? It's trough, right? Alright. Discovered grindstone. You're definitely going to be seeing a lot of jump cuts because I'm going to be raising my herbalism by picking most of the plants in the start area. Also, I will say, if you're seeing this video, that means I've already completed the whole walkthrough, so the videos are just releasing, so you can look forward to consistent uploads as well as the review. The way I'm going to be doing it, unless I say otherwise in a future video, is I'm going to finish recording and editing and uploading all the videos before you get to see it, just because my schedule gives me sort of inconsistent times to be able to play. So it's a much more difficult process for me to record and upload as I go and have that be consistent uploads. I'll have times where I can play a lot at once, and then times where, or long periods where I just don't have time to play at all, so. That's how that works. Unless it's a game that has like no set start or end point, like Tarkov or a multiplayer game. Those would be exceptions. Also, as I mentioned before, I don't know how long I'm gonna do each recording session. I guess it just depends, but based on how much I cut out, I'm gonna try to have each episode be around 30 minutes. If anybody has any suggestions on what they prefer, I feel like 30 minutes is a good middle ground. I can always make episodes longer or shorter as necessary. Of course, it won't apply to this playthrough, but future playthroughs that I do. This is a really long game anyway, so 30 minutes is probably the minimum you'd want to do. Or you'd end up with like 400 episodes.
Have you lost something?
I think we're gonna let him live for now. Just take his stuff. From my understanding, I don't think they remember that you choked them out when they get back up.